Sean. You're gonna feel real stupid when I beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. I'm wasted. Bad. An important thing to remember about Triple H is that he views himself when he looks in the mirror as this warrior knight, Conan destroyer, super badass, unstoppable guy. The fact that he's actually an insecure, cheating, undercutting, manipulative coward, he's kind of blind to. He can't see it. And that's why when The Undertaker beats him, all Triple H can think about is, but I still got some good hits in though, right? And everyone's like, sort of. Hey, stop acting like you beat me. Yeah, but I kinda did, sort of. No, you didn't. Yeah, but I hit you a bunch of times. That's not how wrestling works. You can't win, you lost. Admit that you lost. No. Fight me again then. No. You're not as good as Shawn Michaels. Bitch, I will fight you anywhere. I will fight you on the moon. It's going to be a Hell in the Cell match where I'm allowed to use any weapon I want. My sledgehammer. And the referee is going to be, my best friend, Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels is like, well, chill it on the best friend. You chill it on the best friend. Triple H is like, you're my best friend. And with Shawn Michaels as the guest referee, access to any weapon he wants in a match that he chose, Triple H loses to The Undertaker. This is the end of an era. Triple H is so beaten up at the end of his match that he, Shawn Michaels, and The Undertaker walk out together in what should be a beautiful moment. The end of 3 careers.
This is On the Network.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of On the Network. I am Rich, and with me always is Tyler David. Tyler, how are you doing tonight?
Pretty good. I mean, had some minor technical difficulties, and my wife apparently decided to smother our entire computer desk with lotion, so I'm dealing with that. But I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Pretty good, pretty good. And we also have a guest with us. George Seckman is with us, and he's from Japan.
Welcome.
How are you doing tonight?
Not too bad, not too bad. I've finally been listening to you guys for a while. I'm finally glad I get to actually chime in and put my 2 cents worth in. I'm probably one of the older people that's listened to your guys, so this ought to be really interesting.
Yeah, and it's what, like 4 o'clock right now over there?
It is now 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so normally when we're recording, you're usually working.
Yeah. Usually I'm working unless I happen to have a Friday off. So, but like I said, I'm on vacation until the end of the month. So maybe we can try again some other time before I go back to work.
And that's just amazing. You pretty much had an entire month off. Like, I am envious of that.
Well, I saved up all my leave for. Throughout the year. I don't take a lot of vacation time throughout the year. So then you have to use up a certain amount. So I basically had like 3 weeks saved up. I was like, okay, I'll just take it because I can't take it working retail here. I can't take any vacation from like October through February.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I'll just take it before the big sales and stuff. And get all rested up and ready for that crap.
Oh, Jesus. So do any of you guys have anything for the news?
Sure. There's lots of stuff went down this week. WWE signed Kanna.
That they did.
And this intrigues me because she's 33 years old, so she's a lot older than a lot of the current women.
Yeah, it's like she's pretty much a veteran, and I think it's like the same thing with Kenta or Itami. It's, like they're going to sign him and they're going to put him in NXT, and they're going to take that chance to either maybe learn English a little better, or to learn the WWE way.
Yeah, after they showed her on the NXT special and then announced it, I started to went on to YouTube and looked up some of her matches. She is a vicious, vicious woman. She'll fit right in with the Becky Lynch and the big submission wrestlers there if they let her go.
So she's going to start off in NXT, I believe, right? So,
right.
Which, I mean, they definitely need some new women in NXT because, you know, the big three just left up to the main roster. But
yeah.
So I'm curious to see what they do. Hopefully she does well, and hopefully they eventually gets the main roster, and the language barrier or anything like that doesn't hurt her.
Yeah, the only thing I worry about is if you watch any of her matches, she is like stiff as all get out. So I don't know how the Barbie doll wrestlers of the WWE are going to be able to handle her style, or if she's going to have to tone it down quite a bit.
Oh, she'll be toning it down.
Well, here's hoping for Eva Marie feud with her.
Holy
yes, that would that would be interesting because I would love to see her. She does those Daniel Bryan kicks to the chest followed by a kick to the head. I swear, one of the matches it looked like she knocked somebody's tooth off into the third row. So,
if anything, Eva Marie will figure out fast if she wants to really stick and be a wrestler.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if within about a year or so she's done wrestling and she gets just enough exposure to get herself off to Hollywood and disappear.
She's a horrible actress, though. And her voice is horrible, too. I don't see how she's going to excel in that.
Oh, I agree.
I didn't say she'd excel, but I still think
she'll have a guest spot on Law and Order. And
yeah. I'm sure they still got like softcore porn and stuff she can do. I mean...
And Richard's thinking, like, no, please don't ruin Law and Order for me, too.
Oh, God, no. I would be in so many tears.
Well, didn't he sign with The Rock's talent agency or something like that? Wasn't somebody saying that?
Yeah, that was on Total Divas. I don't think we're really going to be going over Total Divas too much, but that was actually like a big part of like the Eva Marie story, where she was pretty much talking to her agent or manager or whoever, and then you find out that's the same person that manages The Rock. So, like, she was trying to get Eva Marie to line up with The Rock at some like opening for a movie.
I believe it was the San Andreas, which I just watched that recently. It was all right. A lot of people gave it shit, but it was all right.
I enjoyed it. It was a good disaster movie.
Mm-hmm. Nothing special, but I mean, you didn't really expect to watch that for the storyline. You know, you just wanted to see special effects. But they're letting her keep her name, it looks like, for now, but I'm sure they'll probably end up changing that. We'll see.
Oh, yeah.
Who, Kanna?
Yeah.
No, they actually did change her name a little bit.
Already?
Because in Japan, she spells it with 2 N's.
Oh, okay.
And she's got a full name that she uses here in Japan, so it's kind of like the Taz thing. They dropped, or they added a Z or whatever it was when Taz came from ECW to WWF. That they kind of did the same thing. They kept the basics of the name, so anybody who knew of her would know who she is, but still have enough difference that they can probably claim the name.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If only Kenta could have gotten that deal, huh?
Yeah.
It's like, instead we're going to call you Hideo Itami.
Yeah, well, it could have been worse.
Oh, it could have.
Yoshitatsu, anybody?
Let's see. Oh, talking about random race things, I guess. Another NXT diva is out.
Which one?
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't even think she was on TV, to be honest with you. I think she was like one of those girls that just signed and went away.
Actually, from what I was reading, because I just read an article on that earlier. You're not talking Zahara, right?
Right.
Talking the other one?
Yeah.
But yeah, I read an article on that, and I don't know that they actually let her go because they actually did an investigation, found out her thing was hacked, and it was when she was like 16 and 17 years old. So,
yeah,
it didn't sound like. Yeah, and I think she had been working some of the house shows, and she may have done one or two tapings as like a enhancement diva type thing.
Yeah, I mean, just some of the tweets that were unveiled. I mean, if it was hacked, I guess maybe someone else could have done it.
Yeah.
But the only thing is like the dates. You know what I'm saying? But if she was 16, I guess. But still, it just. Why would you say that?
People do stupid shit when they're young.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Did you see Lana got injured?
Yeah.
I guess she broke her
still
wrist.
For like 4 months or something?
Yeah, I think they said 4 months. Now, why is she going to be off TV when she was never really wrestling in the first place? Yeah, she was scrapping with Summer Rae a little bit, but they can just keep her coming to the ring as valet.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing whenever I read it. I was like, wait a minute, she hurt her wrist, and that's going to keep her out for 4 months, and it's not like she's out there trying to do 20-minute matches with Charlotte or anything.
So, she posted a video on Facebook, I think today or yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And it's her like in a hospital bed with her arm all bandaged up or cast or whatever it was. And she had like an IV in her other arm.
Oh, so maybe it's a little bit worse than what we were thinking. Maybe she actually like.
Or they're just trying to sell a story, maybe.
Yeah, when I saw a photo of her, she just had a typical sling.
Right. Yeah, because I saw that photo too.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Well, another thing with Twitter, did you see, I guess there was a wrestler. I didn't figure out who. It might have, maybe you saw it, but it was a wrestler that asked his Twitter followers for an illegal stream to watch UFC. And WWE was like, we're never going to sign this person ever because of it.
No, I must have missed that one.
Yeah, I did not hear anything about that.
Really? It got deleted, so no one was really able to find it, but find out who it was. But I mean, I agree. Like, if you're that's WWE's profits right there is pay-per-views. So if you know, that just makes you look bad if you're signing somebody that was illegally downloading shit, you know. But I don't know. It's hard to say. Do you agree with WWE saying, hey, just a blacklist, you're never going to get signed because of that?
I have a feeling that they had other reasons.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking the same. It depends on who the guy was, how talented he actually was, and if he was even on their radar to begin with.
Right. Or if he only got on the radar because of that.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, okay, this guy, he's not worth our time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my guess. Let's see here. Did you see that WWE.com asked whose return would generate the loudest crowd reaction? And let me list off the options here for you. Goldberg, Jeff Hardy, Shane McMahon, Matt Hardy, Kurt Angle, Batista, Scott Steiner, or someone else. So, who would be your favorite to come back, and who do you think's winning the vote?
I would say Shane.
Shane for both?
Mm,
and probably winning the vote, it would probably be someone like Kurt Angle or Jeff Hardy.
yeah, I would go either Kurt Angle or Goldberg myself. I think Goldberg's still a big enough name that if all of a sudden his music were to hit and he come down to the ring, that would generate a huge pop there.
Would it though? Like after that last match he had with Lesnar?
Yeah, that I still think it would. He's still a big enough name that and even with that last match with Lesnar, I don't think that would have really tarnished it. It didn't affect Lesnar in the slightest, so I don't think it would really affect him either, because everybody knew at the time what was going on, and the match itself wasn't that bad, other than the crowd taking them out of it. It was one of those, if that match were in a vacuum, and it wouldn't have been, I don't think it would have been remembered as a horrible match.
I'll have to go back and rewatch it and look at it that way.
Huh. But, yeah, I think almost any of, like, Matt Hardy, Batista, and Scott Steiner, I don't think any of those would get a great pop, but all the rest would for sure. Personally, it's probably a tie between Kurt Angle and Shane McMahon. Angle's injured, so I don't think he's going to come back. I mean, I'd love to see him come back as like a manager for Jason Jordan and Chad Gable. That would be pretty awesome.
Well, I was reading, he put out something recently saying he's done with TNA after this run here. He said he's completely done, and he's actually, from what I was reading, he was saying he's still healthy, but he doesn't really. He's going to step away from wrestling for a while.
Didn't he just like lose all the feeling in his body not too long ago?
Well,
like I thought it was like
that happens to him like on a daily basis, I think. But
I thought like he like completely like collapsed and was in the hospital. I don't know, but I was always a huge Kurt Angle fan. Shane McMahon, I think, would get a huge pop.
And I think Shane. I also think Shane would be the easiest to get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is Jeff Hardy up to nowadays?
TNA.
It's still TNA. With what's left of TNA.
So, who do you think realistically could return out of these? You said Shane. What about Goldberg's been wanting to come back, I think.
Yeah. Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy. If I would not be surprised to see them pop up, maybe like at a Royal Rumble or something like that. Yeah. It's just the thing is like I'm like looking at this going, okay, WWE or WWF, just both combined, have given these two guys so many chances. Mm-hmm. And one of the last times the Hardys were back, they were pushing Jeff Hardy like through the moon. You know, and the thing is, the guy is too unstable. Yeah. You know, he might, like, his body might be able to take whatever is thrown at him, but with that being said, he also really likes his pills.
Yeah, I seen his one match against Sting for the championship, I think it was.
Oh, God.
Where Sting just, like, knocks him out and pins him real fast.
That was
pretty fucking bad, but, yeah.
That was about the last time I ever really watched TNA, was around that time.
So, well, let's see. At the time I wrote this down, Jeff Hardy was winning the vote at 31%, followed by Kurt Angle at 24%, Shane at 19%, and Goldberg at 17%. And then all the rest were really low.
Jesus.
I don't think Batista's going to come back for a long time, if ever. He's making that Hollywood money.
He doesn't need to.
Did you see though he teased on Twitter? He shaved his head again to look back like his animal days. After like his last movie, he shaved his head again and said back to the animal look or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see a reason for him to, unless WWE is trying to associate themselves with the James Bond franchise.
Yeah.
You know they love to do that. Every time there's a wrestler in a movie or anything outside of WWE, they like to push them.
But with that being said, Batista was in Guardians of the Galaxy. Mm-hmm. That was the biggest movie of the year. Right?
Yeah.
Like easily. Just one of the biggest movies of the year, if not decade. Like, looking back at it.
He was around that time, wasn't he?
No, he was gone. And he was never mentioned. Guardians of the Galaxy was never mentioned.
Well, I could have swore, because he had that stint with Evolution again, remember?
That was right before it.
Yeah, and but the whole time they were saying, he's gonna star in Guardians of the Galaxy.
But whenever the movie comes out, nothing was said. Nothing. It was just really weird. They distanced themselves from him instantly.
Well, that may have also had to do with that was during that whole Royal Rumble debacle, and they were trying to. They thought he'd come back to this big hero's welcome, and had Daniel Bryan not been around, it probably would have played out a whole lot differently.
Oh yeah. Well, really.
So they basically had to turn him heel at that point. So. You don't really want to be promoting heels movies or anything like that.
Yeah. If
that makes sense.
Possibly. I know Piper was talking about this at one point. How he was saying what was it, after WrestleMania 3, I think, was whenever Piper quote unquote retired.
Right.
And he was like, okay, I want to go make movies. And WWF's reaction to that was, oh, you're going to go make movies? Cool, so was Hulk Hogan. And, they never mentioned, Piper being in any of the movies that he was in. It was just kind of Piper was gone. That was it.
Well, was he under contract? Maybe that's the issue. They're not really allowed to talk about him if he's not in contract.
They own the rights to his name, don't they?
I wouldn't think so, not Piper.
Yeah, Piper would have been smarter for that.
Yeah, he was Piper well before he came into WWF. So because if that were the case, they would have called him something different in WCW.
Right.
So
that's true,
I don't know.
Yeah.
So speaking of that Royal Rumble, so how bad do you think they're gonna mess up the Royal Rumble this year on a scale of 1 to Roman Reigns?
Is Big Show an option?
Is Big Show? He's always in the running every year. They always say that.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do this year.
Yeah, this one's going to be really, really hard to call because I don't think they're gonna. I don't think Daniel Bryan will be back by then.
And I don't think they're gonna let Roman Reigns win again.
No, that went nowhere.
Yeah. So I'm thinking maybe Dean Ambrose, maybe Seth Rollins if he doesn't have the championship at the time.
Sheamus.
Oh fuck.
Oh God, no. I could see that, especially if, say, at Night of Champions, he unsuccessfully tries to cash in, where it was an official cash in, and he's not successful, like when John Cena did it the one time. They get the briefcase off of him, and then he goes on still to win the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I mean, someone has to like Sheamus out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it has to be kids.
I think Sheamus' mom does, maybe.
Triple H.
Yeah. Or Vince.
Yeah. Well, he's a big guy. He's a decent wrestler at best, and he has a unique look. So, of course, they're going to try to push him based purely off of that.
You know what we
whether
need,
or not anybody else.
You know what we need, though? is another Sheamus versus Randy Orton match. I haven't seen it enough.
Oh, they are just so compelling, and I just can't get enough of. Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I'm just.
I don't see how you can have a match on Raw, and then SmackDown, and then on the pay-per-view, and then again on Raw, and it's supposed to be entertaining. The same.
Yeah, and they trade victories. Nobody's really going over on anybody, because as soon as Sheamus wins, then the next match Orton wins, and then they just trade back and forth. And to quote JR here, with that 50-50 booking, nobody gets over. You just if they both keep winning, nobody wins.
There's no story either. It's just they're wrestling. Like, put the fucking briefcase on the line or something.
Can they do that?
Well, speaking.
Yeah, they can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, they've done that before. That's how Edge got his second one, was whenever he beat Kennedy for it.
Oh, I forgot Kennedy was even there.
Yeah, because he won the Money in the Bank. They were ready to push him to the moon, and then he got injured, so they took the briefcase off of him, and then the injury wasn't as bad as was expected, so he came back, then dropped Randy Orton on his shoulder and pissed everybody off, and they're like, okay, you're done.
Oh, Orton.
So, yeah. So there is precedence to put it on the line for something like that, but so what do you guys think of this mystery partner for Reigns and Ambrose?
It's gonna be Randy Orton probably.
No, I don't think so, because I think they already took, quote unquote, took him out. I think they're setting up. Because they took him out, and then who was the second one they took out? That one of the Usos, the healthy Uso, they took him out on SmackDown. Well,
I mean, Randy Orton has a reason to join now that he was taken out by them.
See,
but I think
who else has a reason?
Well, I think they're probably going to debut somebody, kind of like they did with Strowman. They'll bring somebody up for it.
Is there anyone in NXT that would fit the bill? I mean, there was rumors it was going to be Baron Corbin, but I think that was shot down. That would be a horrible decision.
I don't.
Yeah, like I'm thinking that it could be. What I'm really thinking is who's on the injured list, because there's so many people on that injured list that they could just throw out one of those guys, like, who's still on the injured list, quote unquote, but they're at the performance center right now training or doing something.
Here's one thing: how many people are in a Survivor Series team? Is it 4 or 5?
It depends on they've had anywhere from 3 to 5.
Okay, so what do you think about this idea? So Eric Rowan comes back from injury to help them, right? And then he turns on them and joins the Wyatt family again. So then the Wyatt family has 4, and then you get a tag team to join Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns for Survivor Series in a 4-on-4 match.
I wouldn't go quite that route. I wouldn't turn Rowan that quickly. If you're gonna bring him back, just bring him, and with the plan is to put him with the Wyatts, just put him with the Wyatts. Don't do the bait and switch. He's already flip-flopped enough at this point. I say if you're gonna do that, he comes during this match and interferes, taking out whoever the third person is before the match or something. and then like you said, they can bring in a tag team,
maybe the Usos
to help them. No, because I'm not sure.
They're not in the same league as them, really.
No.
No. I would love to see him bring up Kaz and Enzo for something like that, but I don't realistically see that happening. But I'd love to see him bring up a tag team from NXT to fill that, something that the Wyatts have never seen. That's why I'm thinking you bring up a third person from the third person, so somebody they've never seen from NXT.
Balor.
Nah.
No, I'd see Joe before I'd see Balor.
I don't know. Like, I know Balor really hasn't done much with the belt, and really, like, I would say he's the first NXT champion to not really defend the belt that much, or even show up on TV.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll do that because he's not over with the main roster right now, or with the main roster crowd. Because I was watching NXT, and we can talk about this more later, but when he was doing his entrance, you know how when you watch on NXT and they're in front of the NXT crowd, every single person in that arena participates in his entrance. You know, they throw their arms up.
Right.
I'd say maybe 20% tops were doing it because they recorded the main event of NXT. It was at the beginning of a SmackDown taping, I think it was. And the main roster crowd just looked like they didn't give a shit at all about Balor. So I don't know if they're going to push him to the main roster yet, even for just one match.
Yeah, but just think about that. Like, what other way to get that guy over than to pair him up with Ambrose and Reigns?
Yeah, that is a good point, though.
My only worry would be what they do with him after that. They've not really had a really great success rate as of late bringing people up from NXT.
You know, I'm just throwing this out there. There's no way in hell it's going to happen. But let's say the Wyatt family is in the ring. You know, Dean Ambrose. They come out. They don't. There's a couple ways you could do it. Either they could pretend like, oh, we couldn't find a third person. They do the match, and then the third person comes out at the end, or he comes out. Either way, here's my idea: Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's if he came back, all he would have to do, he wouldn't even have to wrestle. He would just have to fucking do the stunner a few times, put Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns over, and just at the end, hey, buy WWE 2K16. I think that could work if he'd be up for it. But I don't think
yeah. No, if he comes back at all, it's going to be a huge big money match, WrestleMania type. He's not going to come back for something like that.
Yeah, not Night of Champions. But hey,
I could see the Dudleys filling that tag team role, especially if Rowan comes back, and because they had the whole thing before the Dudleys signed, where Rowan and Harper were using a variation of the 3D. And Bubba Ray started getting on him on Twitter and stuff. So I could see.
I don't know. I don't think they're on the same level either.
They're. Oh, there was a Spike Pile driver. Oh.
It's gonna be tricky. We'll just have to wait and see what they do. But I'm sure they'll fucking. Yeah. It'll end in a screw finish, and we will all be disappointed. Can we all agree on that, at least?
Yeah. Talking about Night of Champions, did you guys see that Rollins and Sting are probably not the headliners?
Yeah, I was reading that too. And I don't know.
Yeah, US belt will be the main event.
I don't want to see that.
Sense.
I definitely don't want to see that. I would rather see Cena Rollins open for the U.S. title, and then give him enough time to rest up for the world title match, and finish with that.
But
so they would have to do the Sting match like near the beginning, otherwise he wouldn't have a time to rest. Which that would make sense.
Right.
Unless that's part of the obstacle for him is I was in this match, now I have to go straight to this match.
How about they just make it a fucking triple threat match? Whoever gets the first pinfall gets the US belt. Whoever gets the second gets the World Heavyweight belt.
And then Cena walks away with all.
Yeah. And then we're back onto our path of him having every single championship.
They have done that before. I do remember there was a Jericho Angle He Who Shall Not Be Named match for the European and the Intercontinental titles. Jericho had held both of them, and he lost both of them without ever being pinned or submitted because the other guys pinned each other.
I think I might actually remember that. Jesus, that was years ago.
Yeah, it hadn't been done in many, many, many years, but there is precedent for that. But I wouldn't see them putting Sting like that, though.
I have a feeling Rollins is going to lose both belts. I don't see... He's either going to keep both or lose both.
I don't see Sting getting it, though.
He's got to. How can you have 2 matches in WWE and lose both? And make it to the Hall of Fame. You know, they got to get him to that Hall of Fame.
Well, the fact that he already fought at WrestleMania
and lost,
that gets him in the Hall of Fame. Just so they can say he was a WWE wrestler. But the whole Hall of Fame is going to be about how much he impacted the history of wrestling and the industry of wrestling, all of that bullshit that they'll say.
How do you get newer fans who don't really know about Sting how do you get them invested into a Sting match when they've only seen 2 Sting matches and he's lost both?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, yes, I would argue it does. I'm with Tyler on this. People say wins and losses don't matter, but in a way they do. You can't bring him in as this big legendary figure and then just have him lose twice in a row in his only 2 matches. I could see him
at least put him on a Raw or something and let him win a couple matches, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
I just don't see them putting the belt on him.
Well, what I could see, and you're all going to hate me, and he wins our
Sheamus.
Yep.
Sheamus.
Yep.
Where honestly, that's the most logical thing. That way it could go down in the record books as he won, and he was a champion.
Right.
For what,
30 seconds
minutes.
Right.
But it's in the record books he was a champion.
Yeah.
Let me throw this out there. They could do what they did to Brock Lesnar, and if they want to keep Seth Rollins looking strong, Sheamus runs into the match, turns it into a triple threat, and then beats Sting for the title. What do you think about that?
That puts it at Sting losing his only 2 matches.
Or Sting beats
Yeah.
Sheamus, which would be personally my best option because
Sheamus
doesn't get the belt.
Yeah, and then we could have the Undertaker match after that.
A Sting versus Undertaker for the belt?
Yeah, why not?
Survivor Series?
Because apparently Undertaker's never going to retire. So
yeah, that's another piece of news we need to talk about. Undertaker supposedly is not his retirement run, according to JR. Undertaker says he's got years left in the tank. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I as much as I'm a big Taker fan, I've followed him since the beginning. Even I'm at the point where, dude, you're my age. You're 50 years old. You don't need to be out there anymore. You don't need to be trying to prove anything else to anybody.
Right. It's like you're the Undertaker. Who are you trying to like impress now?
Right. I want to see the way that I want to see the Lesnar Taker WrestleMania match. Lesnar finally beats him again, and he beats him clean. No shenanigans or anything else. And Taker finally goes, "Okay, you are the better man. I'm going to step down now. You have my blessing." Yada yada yada.
Right.
See, my head tells me Undertaker should retire. He's gonna kill himself. But my heart tells me, man, I want to see fucking Undertaker just forever. You know? I keep flip-flopping.
Yeah, but he's very quickly running out of people to face.
But I mean, the guy had an entertaining match with Brock Lesnar, the most intimidating guy in the business right now. If he can put on an entertaining match with him, then he can do that with almost anyone. I mean, I wouldn't put him in the match with one of these fucking speedy, flippy shit guys, but against ballers, yes.
Yeah, but who else would be on his level at this point? That's the other thing. There's nobody. The only other person he has never faced is John Cena.
At WrestleMania? Yeah. I'd watch it.
Yeah, but
yeah, like pretty much like it's coming down to the things of as you guys said, who is on Undertaker's level. Like, let's say, like, you know, you get rid of all disbelief. You know, you just buy into everything. Who is on his level for his character? You know, it's like you have this guy that is a living legend, right? Like, you can't throw, like, Seth Rollins in a ring against him. No matter how good I think Rollins might be, it doesn't matter. You know, he's not going to be on Undertaker's level. Like, that's the thing. It's like, Undertaker has surpassed 2 to 3, almost 4 generations of wrestlers, if you think about it. Like, all those different eras, he has surpassed almost all of them. Like, Shawn Michaels, he retired. Flair, retired. Triple H, he does his one match a year, but basically retired. You know, like, yeah, he's on TV every week, but he's not fighting anymore.
Well, there's 4 matches left for The Undertaker. If he gives me these 4 matches, then he can retire, and, well, hopefully he retires. Sting versus Brock Lesnar, final chapter. Or, why did I say Sting? Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar, final chapter.
You're trying to kill Sting?
Undertaker versus Sting, Undertaker versus John Cena, and Undertaker versus Kane retirement match. That would be my ideal finish, but who knows? It sounds like forever.
Except the retirement match should be someone younger. You know what I'm saying? Like, not much younger, but younger. Like I'm thinking, like, Flair's retirement match was against Michaels. You know, it's like, Michaels was a good, like, 10 years younger than Flair. And that's probably being very, very generous. It's probably more than that. You know, but it's like that made sense. Like, it's Flair going, okay, I'm passing the torch. You can't really, like, I want Undertaker, if he is going to go and just keep going, I want him to have that pass the torch match. And right now, the only guy that you could do that to is Lesnar.
Well, how is he passing the torch to Shawn Michaels? The guy was already fucking almost done with his career as well.
He was, but it was like you are a younger generation. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was kind of like...
Who would that be then?
For Undertaker, Lesnar, Cena. That's That's what you have.
Ugh, what?
Exactly.
I don't want to see Cena go over fucking Undertaker. He's already ruined everything else about fucking wrestling. Why ruin Undertaker as well?
See, that's the reason to have that match, just because you couldn't call that match. You would have everybody believing that John Cena is going to add one last notch to his thing. Somehow Taker pulls the win out anyway, and then retires after that.
Yeah.
Well, I think Undertaker's final match will for sure be a loss. Because
I would hope.
Because that's wrestling tradition, is to lose your final match, and he is all about wrestling tradition.
Yeah, but I don't know. But he still has that mystique and everything. Even the one loss to Lesnar, they make such a big deal out of the one loss that I don't know that.
And his final match might not be at WrestleMania as well.
It probably won't be.
Yeah.
So
like,
they can have
it'll
him
probably
lose
be at
and
like
it won't.
Royal Rumble is what I'm thinking.
Or maybe Survivor Series or SummerSlam next year.
Right.
Yeah, I would love to see Survivor Series, because that's where he debuted. Bookend his career by he came in at Survivor Series, he goes out at Survivor Series.
That makes the most sense. It really does, because, I mean, well, I guess if you're going to be technical, like, I think it came out on Superstars. But Survivor Series is like what everyone remembers, and that's what we have access to see his first appearance.
Right. He did do some like main event thing before that or something. So,
like some Saturday morning kids show.
Yeah, like WCW or not like. Yeah, I remember that they had him come because they were still at the before he made the thing. They were still calling him Kane the Undertaker.
Right.
So, but yeah, bookend him by if he's going to go out on a loss, do it at Survivor Series. Don't do it at Mania.
That makes the most sense.
Yeah. Any other news, Richard?
I don't think so. No.
I think that's all I had wrote down.
I did have one little thing. Did you guys read? I think it was like a TNA guy kicked some fan in the chest at like an indie show. Did you read about that?
Was it Gunner?
Yeah, it was Gunner. Apparently, the guy had been like talking smack or something online, and then was chanting at him or something. So he just picks up and kicks him right in the chest.
That is amazing.
Right in front of his kid. The guy had his kid with him, and he got on a mic or something. Said, "You going to talk smack? I'll come out there and put a boot to you or something like that." But most of the fans around it are like, "No, the guy wasn't being that obnoxious, and he didn't deserve to be kicked in the chest that way." Wrestlers, some of the wrestlers were saying, were kind of behind him just because they're wrestlers sticking up for their own, but privately they're all going, "Yeah, dude, you're being a douche."
Well, there goes the remaining TNA funds to that lawsuit.
Yeah. No, I don't think it was a TNA show. It was some little indie show, because they were saying they didn't even have barricades around the ring or anything. It was just like a gym with chairs sitting around. That's why he was able to kick him the way he did, because he just walked up to him and kicked him.
That is hilarious. Honestly, I've always waited for that to happen watching Lucha Underground, because there's like no barrier in between like the audience and the ring, to where if you're watching it, like there's a lot of matches where you'll see people have to like run out of the way right away. You know, I've just always waited for someone to be like, "I paid for this seat, I'm not moving." You know, just that one asshole.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't think anybody paid for those seats. I think those were all comp seats or plants, something like that. They were. I don't think they ever sold any seats to any of their shows. That's why they were able to do the way they did.
That would make a lot of sense.
It's more like the quote-unquote reality TV where before the show, they hand-select fans and like, okay, this is what's going to happen. This is what we need you to do. Things like that.
So it's like Eva Marie fans on NXT.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they don't just make the whole fucking crowd Eva Marie fans.
Oh my
They
god.
like to do that, put people over.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna give up on her soon. I really do.
I don't know.
I don't either. I think they are really, really trying to push this, and regardless. And the rumor is that they want her to eventually beat Bayley and become this huge babyface in NXT, which is never going to happen.
Which obviously, if you beat Bayley, that's how you become a babyface.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like the most over person in the entire company, minus John Cena.
Exactly.
And even then, that's questionable.
Well, I wouldn't say over, but the biggest baby face of the company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, unless she becomes like Sister Abigail and just fucking shits on her fans, like completely, yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Oh god, could you imagine that poor little girl?
Oh god.
The little girl will just come out like one of the cult. Then she'll be like,
Yeah, but like they would have to get that like little girl like involved somehow in order for that to even work. Because if they did that, oh my god, that little girl would just be in tears for the next like year.
well, they had a Wyatt family when they did that one thing. They had that little kid singing that song out near the ring. If you remember that.
Yeah.
Um,
But that's still a little different than this like little girl that her hero is Bayley.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god.
I'll tell you who I'd love to see fill a Sister Abigail role. That's Alexa Bliss.
She could work, but she's too pretty.
Goth her up. I could see her. Plus, they could work off that too. Her being the antithesis, opposite of the Wyatt family.
Yeah.
And she's been able to pull that smarmy little stuck-up woman thing that she's been doing with her two losers there. I can't even, Blake and Murphy. She pulled that off perfectly. So I could definitely see them watching that and saying, if we need a Sister Abigail, she would be my first pick for something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they would have to hire someone new. It would be a hard choice. Did you see that they're kicking Naomi off Total Divas next season?
That's what I hear.
Because my guess is she's too like goody two shoes for the show. They just want nothing but pure drama. So they're bringing in the woman that won Tough Enough, I believe.
Oh no, like the runner-up.
The runner-up?
Yeah.
Not even the woman that won?
No. No, because Total Divas, like, pretty much Naomi, like, her idea of a good time is, let's spoil my husband's kids.
Yeah, let's stick to kids at Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. It's like...
Whereas all the other women are like, let's get in bikinis, let's get drunk, make bad decisions, kiss other women.
Yeah. And, like Naomi's like, let's go on a family camping trip.
I'm
All right,
in a
guys.
van and an RV. This is amazing.
Before you know it, we are going to go to Disney World next year.
All right, we better get moving on back to what I think I derailed everything here.
Alright, that's enough Total Divas.
Yeah, so you want to take a quick break and we'll come right back?
Sure thing.
Sure.
All right. Before we do that, let me get some plugs in there for us. You can find us on Facebook.com/On the Network Podcast. Or you could go to onthenetworkpodcast.com. Or you could email us at onthenetworkpodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on Twitter with On the Network Pod. Or at rstraws. That is myself. We'll be right back.
2 thumbs up.
Had a dream, I hadn't made it. There's nothing dragging down me now. 'Cause the girl gonna push it all out the way. Doesn't to break it, I found a way, yeah. Now ain't nobody gonna take it. 'Cause the girl gonna push it all out the way. And I've had visions of sitting high on my own, go throne, never listen to criticism. I built my own from the bottom. I got myself in my own zone, never stopping a minute, and now I ain't going home. Had a dream, I hadn't made it. There's nothing dragging down me now. 'Cause the girl gonna push it all out the way. Listen to break it, I found my way, yeah. Now ain't nobody gonna take it. 'Cause the girl gonna push them all out the way. Had a dream, I hadn't made it. There's nothing dragging down me now. 'Cause the girl gonna push them all out the way. Listen to break it, I found my way, yeah. Now ain't nobody gonna take it. 'Cause the girl gonna push them all out the way. Boss.
Come face the music with us.
Hey, I'm Joe,
Hey, it's Amy.
and this is the Face the Music podcast commercial.
On our podcast, we talk to musicians to find out what makes them tick
So if you love music,
and want to know more about your favorite local musicians.
then check us out at facethemusicpodcast.com.
That's facethemusicpodcast.com.
That's facethemusicpodcast.com.
So check us out every Thursday for new releases.
You can also subscribe on Stitcher and iTunes. Enjoy the episodes.
Are we done yet?
Creature Feature, a bone-chilling podcast of depraved horror. Creature Feature. If you suffer from a heart condition, avoid Creature Feature. Chunky Larry plunges new depths of terror in Creature Feature. Listen if you dare. Available on Stitcher, iTunes, and Feedburner at geeksoftheindustry.com.
Movies need only 3 things. Badasses.
You tell me who you want done, and I'll do the hell out of it.
A chick with drive who don't take no jive.
Boobs.
Do you know that the female breast, known to be the source of life since Eve, can be deadly weapons?
And body counts.
Body count. The mathematics of murder and menace.
The BB&BC podcast discusses lesser-known action, exploitation, and horror cult cinema. You can find the show on iTunes, Stitcher Smart Radio, and SoundCloud by searching for BB&BC Podcast. You can also listen to each episode directly on the show's website at badassesboobsandbodycounts.com.
Got the goddamn message? Let's go to work. Wrestling soup, motherfucker.
Wrestling soup, motherfucker.
It's wrestling soup, motherfucker. Pay attention. Wrestling soup, motherfucker. Wrestling soup, motherfucker.
Like, this shit sucks, but I know it's good for me, you know?
Motherfuckers. He kept on caressing Triple H's cock.
There's only two kinds of men. Ones that have raped and ones that haven't raped yet.
Yeah. Candy had to go bust flip.
WrestlingSoup.com.
Superstar Virgil. I'm referring to that fuck money. That means that money just pops off your hand. You mean that fuck money? There's fuck money here. There's fuck money there. There's fuck money over there. That means that you need that money. And I want that money. And then after I get that money, I'm going to go right on the Olive Garden and have me some nice, good spaghetti with thick, nice, hot meat sauce.
Superstar Virgil. And welcome back. With me is Tyler and George. And Tyler, let's talk about some NXT.
Alright, sounds good. So let's see here. NXT started with Carmella versus Peyton Royce. Now, question. Is Peyton Royce Cassie, or are they two different people?
See, that's what I was trying to figure out as well. It's funny that you actually bring that up. I'm not sure.
Did they just change her name without telling us?
It's very likely.
Yeah, because they had like, what, 2 or 3 different Australian women all come at the same time, and they're all like jobbers right now.
Yeah, because like there's Cassie, Peyton Royce, who may be the same people, and then Billie Kay, who also had a match later in the night. And I was thinking, none of these women have that unique look. They all look the same and have nothing special about them at the moment. So I don't know what they're going to do with these women.
Yeah. I did like that little spin kick she pulled off through the ring ropes. Was that in this match or?
Yeah, that was this match, I believe.
Okay, so yes, Cassie is Peyton Royce.
Okay, good, because I was about to say, if we can't even tell them apart, then that's not really good at all.
and not only that, but if we, like what I was really thinking was, like, how many Australian women did they just get? Because I was like, where did this one come from?
So, how is Peyton Royce better than Cassie?
They could sell T-shirts with Peyton Royce. That's a name that they could copyright, I'm sure. Where Cassie is kind of just a generic name.
Well, you just gotta have Cassie with the WWE logo. I don't know. It didn't stop them from selling a fucking T-shirt with a pair of blue sweatpants on it.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
And she's not even under contract. So
I think they finally did sign her. I thought I'd read that they finally did actually sign her. Maybe not, because I know there was like rumors that there was a bunch of heat on her.
As of the last takeover, she wasn't signed because all the divas or whatever in NXT were pissed that they were giving her the special treatment when she's not even signed.
Yeah.
So, but this match was good. I'm really loving Carmella lately. Her in-ring personality is amazing. Her moves are improving. So
and she did the moonwalk.
Yeah. She's got that attitude. So I like her.
Which was invented by Michael Hayes.
Yeah.
So was drugging.
Did anybody else pick up on that?
Oh, I did. Corey Graves was like, yeah, that was invented by Michael P.S. Hayes. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. I love Corey Graves on this show. I really do.
He is a great announcer. He really is.
Yeah. I remember when they debuted
every once in a while, yeah. He does every once in a while get a little annoying with the heel shtick, just going nuts over the heels.
But you know what? I like that compared to the main roster where you have 3 people all three of them are supposed to. You're supposed to have the face announcer, heel announcer, and then the neutral in the middle. Whereas they can't fucking make up their mind which one's which, and it annoys the fucking hell out of me. Whereas Graves he sticks to his guns at least.
But to be fair, I don't think even the wrestlers know if they're heel or face when they're in that ring.
Yeah.
like I feel like the main roster is just like, you are whatever the audience says you are tonight.
Especially the women. The women are the worst that way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because the new era of wrestling is you have to be a heel, but at the same time you have to be likable, so you sell T-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which, another thing, I don't know why I didn't mention it earlier, but another thing to point towards Cena winning the U.S. title, the U.S. title T-shirts. Supposedly, they have a ton in stock, so that they're about to put up for sale. So I think they're gonna get him back. He's gonna get that title back, so they can sell more of those T-shirts. But anyway, so this match was good. I enjoyed it. What did you think?
Overall, yeah, it was a fun match. It was entertaining.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to give Peyton the win because it's like they were calling it her debut match, even though she wrestled as Cassie before. But if you lose your debut match, that's not really a good sign. So.
Yes and no. And I'm looking at this as it's NXT, so it's kind of like, you know, like a lot of like the rules are thrown out, but they keep a lot of them in. But I think because of their whole, like, win-losses don't matter approach, I don't think it really matters too much that she lost, because she still looked good. Like, by the end of the match, she walked away, and I was like, I wouldn't mind seeing more of her. Like, she put on a good match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I can see that.
It wasn't like Dana Brooke, where it's like, why the hell are you here?
Yeah, oh God.
And then, so let's see here. The next match was Tyler Breeze and Bull versus Johnny Gargano and Ciampa.
That was.
I knew it was going to be sort of a comedy match when they paired Bull up with him, and I was entertained. It wasn't the best pure wrestling match, but it was a good match.
Yeah, it did. Put out Gargano and Ciampa really good. They were able to show that there's a reason that they were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and on top of that, did you guys see that finishing move?
Oh yeah, I was going to say that was sweet. The little sunset flip into a springboard sunset flip thing.
Yeah. Like Dempsey's being pinned, and I'm almost like, I have to go back and rewatch it, but I feel like the ref was about to start counting down because Gargano had him in a pin. And then Ciampa comes in and does the exact same thing to him, and it just looked perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I was impressed by them. I've seen them wrestle live once, but I didn't really get to focus purely on them because it was like a 800-man tag match. But,
right. And also before we move on to the next one, this was also interesting. So, in this match, I would say Gargano and Ciampa were face.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if you caught what Corey Graves was saying at the beginning, but he was saying about how much he respects Gargano, and he's like, oh, I've worked with him like 10 years ago. This guy is a great wrestler. He's been in the business for a decade. Like, he was putting him over. And it was the first time I've ever actually heard Graves kind of put anyone over that wasn't a strict heel.
But then that's weird because at the end of the match, he was all pissed that Gargano won. And he's like, do these guys even work here, Rich?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I think that was more... That match was really set up just to set up Breeze Dempsey for a feud.
Yeah, there's no way Gargano is going to win the next match. They're up against Rhino and
Corbin. Yeah.
So, yeah, no way they're going to win that one. Next match was Dana Brooke versus Billie Kay.
The second Australian woman of the night.
Did you catch during the thing at one point the crowd was chanting for Billy, and Rich Brennan goes, "Wow, they're chanting for Bailey," and Corey Graves immediately shut him down and goes, "No, they're chanting Billy, moron," or something like that.
Which is what Corey Graves is good at. But yeah, overall, she did not look horrible in the match.
No, she actually looked pretty good in that, and I just, the farther away that Dana Brooke gets away from my TV, the better.
Oh yeah, like I know we talked about this before, but in Cleveland, she's from a suburb of Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, she's in a suburb that both me and Tyler live in. Like, she's like from the one that's like right next to us. And
okay.
And she was getting so much heat. Like, the girls behind us were like, "Go back to that suburb." I was like, "Oh my god." They were like, "You don't even belong here. Your home is right there. Just go. Never come back." I mean, it was so bad though. Like, I almost felt bad for her family.
Yeah, she didn't even get the win that night.
No.
In her hometown. That's fucked up, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, and her grandmother was like leaning over the balcony yelling at fans because everyone is booing this lady. Like, everyone. And then, like, she's picking fights, like, yelling at people under her. It was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's pretty bad when Grandma has to start defending you.
Yeah.
Well, they were, her and Emma were picking on the mentally handicapped kid. So, you can't blame them too much.
No.
Yeah, and like that kid, before the WWE Network, there used to be a sports bar up here that used to have pay-per-views. Every pay-per-view, it was free to get in. And really, all you had to do was just buy a Coke. And you could sit there for the entire pay-per-view. You know, and so I used to go up there for all these pay-per-views. And that guy who, like, he was sitting, like, right at the corner of the entrance. So every wrestler's coming down, like, whenever they're going to the ring or leaving from the ring to go backstage, everyone was, like, hugging him, shaking their hand, taking a picture with him, like, everyone. And I was just like, dude, that's badass. Like, that kid was at every pay-per-view ever, like, at that one sports bar. And I, like, saw him, I was like, that's pretty sweet. And he was also there at the first NXT show. But, you know, this time, like, all the wrestlers were interacting with him. And then come out, like, Emma and Dana Brooke. Or, can we start calling her Janice? Like, she looks like Janice from the Muppets.
What?
Dana Brooke. She looks like Janice from the Muppets.
Oh, Janet. Okay, Janice.
Or Janet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Janice, yeah, okay. You said Janice. I'm like, what the hell is a Janice?
Yeah, but I think we should start calling her Janice from now on. That's just how we'll refer to Dana Brooke. But, like, they came out and they just totally blew that guy off. They left and they just completely blew that guy off. Like, it was just like kayfabe to the extreme, which was it was nice to see. But at the same time, I was like, damn.
Even the male heel wrestlers didn't even do that.
Right.
So, I thought that was interesting. Let's see. Then Apollo Crews had a promo where he says the Apollo Nation. So I guess they're gonna go with that whole gimmick.
I see a big heel turn on him soon.
I see it, but I hope they don't.
It'll be a while if they do that. He hasn't really developed his character yet too much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but when he finally makes his main roster debut, I could see him come up as a heel.
I could see that. And the one thing I will say about him is, because really, you haven't seen him, like, much on a mic, you know, before this. Like, at the most, like, you've seen him, like, maybe, like, in a backstage interview type thing, but it was kind of like an introduction to who he is. But, like, I would say I was really impressed. because that was like one of those things I was worried about. I was like, he's good in the ring, but how is he on the mic?
Yeah.
And he did good.
Everything I've seen from him so far just is like I cannot picture him as a heel because he's always got that smile on and he's always like happy in the ring wrestling. So I don't know. We'll have to see. He'll have to be a great actor if he wants to convince me.
Yeah. Well, I just the reason I say heel eventually is it's going to be the Bo Dallas syndrome. When Bo Dallas debuted as that over-the-top, smiley baby face, always happy, I'm seeing seeds of that would, unless he changes up a little bit here and there, I could see this getting really old really fast and being a Bo Dallas thing where they just finally get tired of him being so damn happy all the time.
But the difference is Apollo has great wrestling and athletic ability to back himself up, whereas Bo Dallas, he just looks like an average guy, you know what I mean? Whereas if I'm on the main roster, I see Bo Dallas come out and talk shit like that, there's no way I'm going to be like, oh, this guy's, a face. Whereas Apollo Crews, he comes out and he's all happy. I'm like, well, he just fucking destroyed that guy. I could see that,
No, I'm talking more like when Bo Dallas first debuted, before he went and embraced the over-the-topness of his stuff. Whenever he first debuted and he was still the smiley, happy, generic babyface that eventually people got tired of.
I also think, in reality, that they'll probably have to make him a heel just because, really, like, there's no one else on the roster I could see going for the championship against Finn Balor. Unless they keep doing the Kevin Owens thing, maybe Samoa Joe.
Yeah, Joe's
I see Joe being the next one to get a title shot. I think that's what they're building towards on this tag tournament thing. We'll talk about it more whenever we talk about the match, but I think this is going to eventually lead to a split between Joe and Balor before their next takeover special, and then Joe challenges for the title.
Because there's only two heels mainly on NXT right now, isn't there? Tyler Breeze and Baron Corbin. And I mean, you could sort of count Rhino, but
yeah,
he flip flops. But besides them, there is no one else. They need more. Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's not many fucking faces either. Like,
everyone's in betweeners right now.
Like Balor's face, Joe's face, and then Bull Dempsey's sort of flip flopping. Who else is there in the singles division?
Crow.
Crow is never around.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just throwing guys out there.
There's no one really, like, he's sort of a mid-carder. There's no one really in the top tier right now in NXT besides, like, Balor and Joe.
Yeah, they just don't know what to do with Crow, I don't think. And that's really hurting him because you never can tell what you're supposed to make of him. It changes like week to week.
I got Stockholm syndrome from watching the main roster. I'm so used to having 800 different wrestlers to choose from.
Yeah.
When we only have like 5 options, it's like, what? What do we do? And then even though they have 800 wrestlers, we see fucking Randy Orton versus Sheamus every fucking week.
We need it. That's how they keep you in. You are invested in a feud now. Because you are waiting for it to be over, and you want to see that fight when it is over.
Well, they got to drag it out till WrestleMania, right? And then after they have their big final, hey, this decides the feud match at WrestleMania. Hey, why not have a rematch at the next fucking pay-per-view?
It'll be like WrestleMania. It'll be like WrestleMania 2017.
No, they'll have the rematch on Raw. That's given.
Yeah.
Have no fear, you'll get it.
That. You know what? They should do that for the rest of Randy Orton and Sheamus's careers in WWE. Nothing but Randy Orton and Sheamus matches. That way, we can always just skip over that and then be done with both of them forever.
And then once one of them retire, they'll get like their own rivalry special, and they'll talk about how good it was.
It spanned decades. It would just seem that way.
So yeah. What else? So Balor and Joe versus the Lucha Dragons. This was the main event at. I believe they recorded this at SmackDown because one of the Usos was an announcer. It was definitely in the main roster ring. So I'm gonna say at the beginning of SmackDown before they, recorded that.
Yeah, I think it was probably recorded at the same time as Superstars.
Yeah.
Uso does commentary on Superstars.
Okay. So, again, like I was saying earlier, Balor didn't really get a good reaction, I thought. I didn't really feel like... And then he came out with this little fucking model like he was trying to be a model or something. Like he had this leather jacket, and he was like... He opened up his jacket, and then they zoomed in on his dick poking.
Yeah. Well, I think they meant to zoom in on the belt, but yeah.
Yeah, one thing I did notice was like the cameramen on that match compared to the others were a hell of a lot better. Oh, I think we missed something.
Did we?
Well, they had the backstage thing with Joe and Balor too, where that's where I was saying they're slowly starting to tease things because they're sitting there talking and then they're getting ready to go out to the ring. Balor starts to walk off, and Joe grabs his title and hands it to him. Like,
yeah.
Oh, you're forgetting this.
Yeah.
Type deal. And then Balor's like, oh, okay, so that's the way it's going to be.
They did announce some of the winners of the tournament, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was cool, because they showed, like, footage of, like, those house shows. And it was like...
They showed...
Enzo Cass versus I can't remember.
It was like the Wanderer and whatever. Two guys you almost never see.
Right.
So.
But I thought that was kind of cool though. Like, I was like, finally, you guys are using like this house show for footage for your show. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like I was okay with that, and that's what they should do with NXT more. In my opinion, except show us the full match. Don't just show us, clips of a match. Because I would have liked to see the Enzo Cass match in its entirety.
They would have to have a full cameraman set up, though. Because if you notice those angles they were showing, they were not the best.
Right.
No, they had some guy in like the front row with a camcorder or something.
Right, and I think another thing about those matches was it almost gives it like that weird indie wrestling street cred.
Mm-hmm.
Because the backgrounds, like the buildings that they were in, are less than nice. It's like you're so used to seeing like a Full Sail.
And then, and then if you're at those house shows, you're actually seeing something that matters versus just a throwaway match.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So it spices things up. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe give NXT like a Saturday show. Like kind of like their version of SmackDown.
No, I don't want to see them get any bigger right now. At this point, I think they're pushing it, getting as big as they are, because at the end of the day, NXT is still their developmental territory. That's why you have the Eva Maries and the people. It's supposed to be meant for people to learn their craft and and everything before they get up to the main roster, and if they get too big too fast, it's going to lose that
feeling.
Yeah.
So here's another idea. Just make a Saturday show with the best matches from house shows, where it's a mixture of main roster and maybe throw in an Enzo Cass fight or a Finn Balor fight.
Just throw an NXT match at the beginning of Superstars or something.
Right.
So that the main roster crowd, well, I mean, probably not many of them watch Superstars, but the ones that do get to see an NXT match, they start getting familiar with them or something.
I completely agree with that.
Yeah. And I do watch Superstars all the time too, so I could see them doing something like that, because that's where they do try out all sorts of new things. People you haven't seen for a long time. If you watch Superstars, you'll see them. Like Adam Rose is now doing a new thing where he comes out with his hair slicked back, wearing glasses, and calling himself a party pooper. He's like, you're all here for a party. Well, I tried to be a party all the time, and you pooped on my party, so now I'm going to poop on your party.
I didn't even know Adam Rose was still around.
Yeah.
I
do like Superstars.
That's why you watch Superstars, see shit like that.
Yeah.
I do like Superstars a main event, actually, because of that. It's like, they don't really try to sell any kind of stories or anything. It's just usually just straight up wrestling.
Right,
right. Usually really not bad for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm a fan of those shows, actually.
So, so Balor and Joe won. Another thing I'd like to point out is that at least, I mean, I could be wrong, but it looked like Balor got some scratches on his neck or something. But it's not really important. But the important thing is that in the promo he did that was played before the match, those scratches are healed up. So I think they recorded that promo after the match, but they played it before the match. I just thought
probably.
I just thought that was interesting. But yeah, besides that, I mean, Balor and Joe won, of course. Kalisto impressed me again. Like to see them do something with him. But overall,
it was interesting to see. I like the Joe Kalisto interchanges there, where Kalisto bounced around really good for Joe, and Joe had some really good, cool moves on him. Like whenever he went to do his like springboard thing, and Joe just grabs him and Uranagis him straight through the mat, and then like splats him.
Yeah. It was a good match. Let's see. You want to move on to something else?
Yeah.
Well, before we do it, I just want to get your guys' opinion. Where do you think this tag tournament thing's going? How do you think this is going to eventually play out?
Main roster. I think that's what the prize is.
So how? See, whenever I first saw it, before I saw all the brackets and stuff, I thought it was basically going to end up that the finals would be Corbin and Rhino against Balor and Joe. And it was kind of annoying me that they've got these two thrown together teams just basically beating established teams all over the place.
Right.
But the more I look at it, out of all the ones that are there, I would love to see, I think, the Jordan and Gable versus the Vaudevillains be the final, and Jordan and Gable get the win.
They might just put the tag titles on the line in the end.
Yeah, because isn't the final supposed to be at a TakeOver?
Probably. That's how I'd do it.
Yeah. Yeah, but see, the thing is, then why have the Vaudevillains in the tournament at all? If it's just going to end up being for the tag titles
right
at the end. You wouldn't want to put your tag champs in the tournament where they could realistically lose at some point, and then they have to come back and defend the tag titles anyway.
Right.
So
there has to be a prize.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're not really making it clear what this, other than the Dusty Rhodes Tag Classic, they're not really making it clear what that means or what it's supposed to do for them. I do kind of like the idea of the whoever wins gets a main roster spot or at least a match on the main roster, something like that.
But there's two of them though. Would they both get spot or?
Yeah, it would be a tag team.
No, yeah, it'd be a tag team.
Well, then it'd have to be like Enzo and Cass winning then.
Right. Well, like I said, you got Enzo and Cass, you've got the Mechanics that could feasibly do it. You got Jordan and Gable, which I'm really digging those two together. Ready, willing, and Gable.
Well,
you said it. You said it. It's on TV.
So okay, let's look at the timeline here. If Jordan and Gable end up winning this and get to the main roster, Kurt Angle's contract could be up by then, and he could come out as their manager. He said he wanted to step away from wrestling, but he wouldn't be wrestling. He would just be a manager. And WWE did have that, questionnaire. One of those people is going to come back soon.
Yeah.
But who's
they're basically doing World's Greatest Tag Team 2.0.
Yeah.
Which really, and this is not a bad thing, really, because I think it's going to help out the tag team division in NXT. Because it introduced new guys, like you have Gargano there now, right? But at the same time, while you're bringing in new guys, you're at least making room for the new guys, so it's not a completely crowded tag team roster. And you're pushing a guy, or you're pushing a team up. And I could see this working out for at least 2 to 6 guys. I could see this being a good thing for the most part. But yeah, I have no idea what it's going to get.
All right, I was just kind of curious what your guys' opinion of that whole deal was.
All right, so we got about 30 minutes left. You want to go over something you have?
Yeah, let's do something kind of different. WCCW episode 71 from 4/29/83. I think this is the first time we ever actually went back to something from WCCW on the show. And I really just picked a random episode. So, the first match was Toriatu versus Kamala. And this really wasn't that big of a match. Like, it wasn't like horrible or anything. One thing I will say I noticed that was really weird about every match. So now if a guy gets in a ring, it's an empty ring with the announcer. So at most there's 3 guys if it's a one-on-one match, right? Or 3 people in the ring, like the announcer and then the 2 wrestlers. In this, there's like 10 cameramen. Like, each wrestler has like a manager in a corner. And then you have the announcer. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Well, that was back in the day when in Texas that time frame. They were still trying to make it seem more like a true sporting event type deal, like with boxing and stuff. So you would have all the hoopla surrounding each guy in the ring at the point. So
yeah, I'm like, it was so funny. Kamala comes out and he's wearing so much like just costume stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And his like just taking it off of him piece by piece. And he's putting it into a suitcase that's about the size of a lunchbox. And he just kept taking stuff off.
Well, you gotta love the giant spear that he had too. That's just, this was definitely way before PC, because Kamala was nowhere near a PC character.
Oh no. I mean, this was actually a decent match. Like I said, like it wasn't anything like special, but as my first match that I saw from WCCW, it was good. Like, it got me excited, because one thing I will say about all of this wrestling from WCCW as a whole is it's not flashy.
No, this was, like I said, back then in Texas wrestling, they were still very protective of the business, and they made it look as realistic as possible. So you didn't see 450s off the top rope and planchas and anything. It was two guys duking it out, basic brawls for the most part for your undercard matches, and then maybe in your main event you'd have somebody pulling out
like a body slam or something.
Yeah, body slams or drop kicks, or maybe if they had like the Chavo Guerrero, the senior edition, he would do a dive off the top rope as one move, and then go back to just wrestling on the mat.
Right. Yeah, like that overall was not bad. The next match was Mike Reed versus the Mongol, and he was accompanied by Akbar.
Yep, Devastation Incorporated.
Akbar. Now, before this match, there was a promo with Akbar and the Mongol, and Akbar, being his manager, just did all the talking. The Mongol just stood there and looked scary as hell.
Yep.
You know, like seriously, like if I was a little kid watching this, I would be scared of the Mongol. I'd be like, I don't want to see this guy ever again. You know, like he was just a big man with a crazy cult-like haircut, or a Mongolian haircut, if you will, as they made sure to stress in the promo. But the promo itself was amazing. Like, you could tell that they were just like, Akbar, say something. Okay. and this is what we got.
Yeah, Akbar back in the day, he was to what Paul Heyman is nowadays. That was Akbar back in the day. He was the quintessential mouthpiece for his guys. Didn't matter who they were or how crappy they were. When you heard him talk, they were the second coming of Karl Gotch and Luthez, and they were going to beat the world, and you believed them.
And I'm okay with that. Like really, like I might actually start watching more WCCW just because of that. I'm not sure if like I'll talk about it a lot on the show. But who knows? Like, if I see a good one, I probably will. Like, this was entertaining.
Yeah, you should definitely try to catch some of the episodes where Bundy turns on Devastation Incorporated. Because he had King Kong Bundy with him at one point, and then Bundy turns on him, and he started a huge. A decent babyface run down there for a while, facing off against Devastation Incorporated.
Yeah, I mean, but once again, like the Mike Reed and Mongol fight, it was entertaining. You know, like it was pretty much just like a brawler fight, but it was good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, so far, out of the two matches I've seen and promo, I've been happy with. And now comes our main event. Tyler, what is the worst gimmick you have ever seen for a fight?
The worst gimmick I've ever seen.
Not counting Kennel from Hell.
So we're talking about like bad, not bad, good. Like not so bad it's good. Like just really
just a horrible idea.
Horrible idea.
On paper, you're like, that could possibly work if we get the right guys. And then you put it in reality and go, we fucked up, guys. My bad.
Oh, man. I can't even think of anything right now. I know there's been some really bad ones over the years.
All right. Well, let me suggest April 29th, 1983, WCCW, episode 71. The main event gimmick was a penalty box match.
Penalty box?
Yes.
Let me explain this. So,
oh, please do.
Okay. The concept is it's a 6-man tag. You have Kerry Von Erich, Iceman King Parsons, and Chavo Guerrero, the senior edition, who at the time was a young up-and-coming superstar in Texas, versus the Fabulous Freebirds, Michael Hayes, Buddy Roberts, and Bam Bam Bigelow. So during the match, if you did some kind of illegal move, say you threw somebody over the top rope, which was still considered a little illegal move back then, they had these cages set up on the outside of the ring, two cages. Well, each cage is about the size for one person to be able to fit in. So if one of the persons does something illegal, they go into the cage for 2 minutes. And it continues. Well, you could they did at one point had both Michael Hayes and Terry Gordy crammed into this tiny little box together for like 2 minutes while Buddy Roberts was getting his can handed to him throughout the rest of the match.
Yeah, it was horrible. Horrible. It's like I'm a big fan of hockey. And I'm like, oh, a penalty box, okay. But I'm like, wait, why is that in wrestling?
Did you guys see the what was it? It was WCW, I believe. It was like Halloween Havoc, or it was basically like Chamber of Horrors, where Cactus Jack, like, he has to throw the switch to electrocute some guy.
Yeah, and it fell down.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was Abdullah the Butcher in there, and then they did the cheesiest electrocution in the world history of the world whenever he did it, because Jack climbed up to hit the switch, and then somebody reversed Abdullah into the chair, and then he hit it. And yeah, there's think 80s cheesy D-grade movie effects, and that's what you had come out.
Oh yeah, and I mean, honestly, like this match, it could have been really good. I was actually really excited because I was like, okay, I finally get to see Michael P.S. Hayes in his prime. You know, he doesn't look like the creepy child molester. Like, he doesn't have that look going for him. He looks just
not quite yet.
Right, like he just looks like a normal guy who goes home and rocks out to Freebird and Skinner and Molly Hatchet. You know, he just has that big blonde mullet, but it's healthier looking than if you were to see him today. His beard actually looked like a beard and not drawn on whatever's happening now. You know, it's just, I don't know, I was really excited. And then on top of that, you got the Von Erichs. You know, you get him, and then you get Chavo Guerrero. I was like, this has the makings of a great match. And then they threw in that rule, and I was like, what the hell happened? I was like, why would
I think that was the one and only time they ever had that match, so.
Oh, thank God.
Mm-hmm. But the faces, even King Parsons was a huge baby face back then too. So I do remember the first time I was kind of clued in onto wrestling being fake as a kid. They had a hair versus hair match. King Parsons versus, I want to say, Buddy Roberts of the Freebirds. One of the Freebirds, more than likely Buddy Roberts, because he was always the one getting stuck in things like that. Well, Parsons wins. He puts like some stuff on Buddy Roberts' hair. Well, the Freebirds come and jump him, and then proceed to try to cut his cornrows off. But they made the mistake of getting like really close on the camera, and you could see where they were like Velcroing off the hair.
Oh.
You see the scissors kind of get close, and then the hair just starts peeling off before they even start cutting it. I'm like, yeah, maybe this whole wrestling thing ain't quite as on the up and up as I was thinking there.
So it's nothing like the Bash at the Beach '98 with Chavo Guerrero just shaving his own head and just nonsense.
Yeah. No. that was back when stuff like that actually meant something, and actually a hair versus hair match was a really big deal. Matter of fact, I think Kurt Angle probably stole the idea of the headgear for a wig from Buddy Roberts, because that's what Buddy Roberts did for a while. After that match, was he was wearing a headgear with a wig on it, saying, "No, my head was never shaved," with the cheapest, cheesiest looking toupee you've ever seen.
Which, I mean, if it works, why not? Go with it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that was WCCW, and it was enjoyable. Like, it's really weird, like going from like what they give us today. And then I was watching this. It's like the production quality, not nearly as good as what we get now. But the entertainment quality for like a wrestling show, it was definitely through the roof. I was not expecting much, to be honest, and I was really surprised and very happy with it. What else do you guys want to talk about?
Let's see.
Do you want to cover that Superstar Inc. with Barrett?
Yeah, that's real fast.
Yeah,
there was one thing that was interesting to me that wasn't even part of the show, but the Terminator commercial that they've been playing nonstop for 2K16.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Guess who's cut out of it now?
Oh yeah, that's right. I didn't pick up on that.
Eva Marie's gone from it now.
Huh.
Oh, you're talking the bar scene one.
Yeah, the bar scene. Like, they cut Eva Marie's quick 1 second in the bar scene out.
I wonder if it was for like time restrictions, because it's kind of like a main roster show.
But it's like literally 1 second.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd have to watch that, because that would make that look odd to me now to not see her there, because she does kind of really stand out as Arnold walks by and he's like scanning her, and it scans like Eva Marie, and you see the red hair and everything, and then
it immediately popped out. I'm like, wait, this is different, and then I had to rewatch it and be like, wait, Eva Marie is missing. But anyway, so Barrett just talks about his tattoos real fast. They only talk about his one tattoo. I guess he has a Goldberg replica tattoo on the side, on his other arm, or something I heard about. But they didn't talk about that at all. They just talked about his tattoo on his right arm, I believe. I guess.
Yeah, the lyrics from the
Maniac Street Preachers, I guess was the
Manic Street Preachers.
Manic Street Preachers.
Yeah.
So I've never heard them, but it's a pretty cool looking tattoo. And it says culture, alienation, boredom, despair, which it's pretty badass. I mean, not knowing the band. I mean, if you know the band, it's probably has a lot more meaning and significance. Have you heard anything from that band?
Yeah. I couldn't even tell you what they sound like right now, but I know years and years ago, I had a couple of their CDs. But it was like one of those things, like, I was hanging out with people, and it was like, yeah, let's throw that on. It was like kind of like a party album.
Yeah.
That I would throw on, and because like I would only listen to it at parties, I was probably really drunk. So that's pretty much my memories of them. Yeah.
I'd never actually heard any of them either, but I'm kind of aware of that genre that he was talking about, the Stone Roses and the British scene during that time frame.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was just a quick little video, nothing too important, but yeah, I'm looking forward to. I mean, I wish they would do some more significant ones. It didn't seem very significant to me, but
yeah, I don't think the Superstar Inc.'s gonna get too in depth on anything like that. That I think they threw that in there because he still has that Culture Shock show, which is his main thing on there. And I don't think they're gonna go too much on the tattoos.
Yeah, like I think this show is actually the first spin-off on the WWE Network. Like I think this is just a spin-off of Culture Shock, where they could really just throw this Culture Shock and Unfiltered, throw it all together, and you get a nice half-hour show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's usually how I kind of watch them, is in kind of that. Whenever they all show up, I'll try to catch all three of them as soon as they pop up and try to watch them back to back to back. Although I was having trouble this week trying to catch Culture Shock for whatever reason. It showed up yesterday on my feed, but I was never able. Each time I would click on it, it says not available. It would start and stop, and so I literally was watching about 5-10 minutes before you called, so I could actually see exactly what it was before this.
Yeah, and Culture Shock is actually a show that's really not that bad.
No, it's
a nice filler. You know, it's like something that you could go, hey, I'm watching the WWE Network, but I'm not watching wrestling.
Yeah. It's nice to see him just out and about doing different things. Like I used to, whenever I was in the military, I was what they called a flying crew chief. I went with airplanes. I'd fly all over the world, and I'd be in a place for like a day or so, and I'd be able to do stuff like he's doing, just go check out something local like that. And it's kind of neat to see somebody doing that, where whenever they're near whatever they're taping at, he just goes out on the town and just wanders and finds whatever the local thing is at that time.
Like, at times with Culture Shock, I almost wish that they would just give him a full half hour. And he could make it sort of like, do you guys remember Dave Attell's Insomniac?
Yeah.
I almost wish that they would sort of make it like that. Like, you don't have to put him out in every bar or in bars at all. Like, I don't know if he drinks or not. You know, but
yeah.
You could put him in a city like New York City and go, okay, you have 2 days to film. Do whatever you want.
That'd be more like the. I would equate that more to the Anthony Bourdain Parts Unknown show, where he just goes and immerses himself in the local area for a day or so.
Which I would be totally okay with that kind of show too. Which they sort of do that, but it seems very cut off, because I mean they're only giving him like 10-15 minutes, so
yeah, it does seem kind of rushed, but just seeing him last week in a brony costume, I kind of lost a little respect for him at that point.
That's just funny.
It's funny. My daughter, I got a 21-year-old daughter who's a big My Little Pony fan, and she'd even heard about him doing that. So she actually sat down and watched that episode with me, with him doing BronyCon. So, I guess it's kind of bringing in a different demographic if you look at it that way.
Well, yeah, because I mean, your daughter would probably be like, "I don't want to watch that with you," on a normal basis. But now she's like, "Well,
yeah,
okay.
Wait a minute. This guy seems kind of cool. Let's." And this week's was Testy Fest, the testicle festival in Montana, and he got into a bull testicle eating contest at this festival. And immediately after that, he comes on camera and goes, "I would now like to officially retire from any competitive eating at this point." You will.
But I mean, kudos to him. You know, he's trying something different.
Yeah, and they're fun. He's having a good time with it, and it's what it is.
That's just so weird. It's so weird.
Yeah. Yeah, if you would have told me like a couple of years ago, whenever he was still wrestling, that he was going to end up being the announcer and doing these other things like that, I'd gone, nah, I just don't see it. He's this big tough guy with the tattoos and just badass. I don't see him having that kind of personality, but lo and behold, get injured and they finally they do something with him. So kudos to them for that. They could have just, after he found out he couldn't wrestle anymore, they could have just let him go, but they did work with him, and I think Dusty Rhodes had a big part with him transitioning into an announcer and everything.
That's what I was about to say. It's like someone saw that he had a personality, and they went with it. They were like, "Look, this is someone that we could keep in our company, and he's going to be good for you." It's like he loves this industry, he loves this business. We could definitely do this, you know. And I'm happy it happened, really. Like, it sucks like that he had to get hurt for him to find his niche in the company.
Yeah.
But I'm almost kind of happy that worked out for him like that, because...
Yeah, I kind of think had he kept wrestling, I don't see him sticking around wrestling there, because he wasn't really... He was okay, but I just never saw anything special about him as a wrestler.
Yeah, I think they picked him up whenever CM Punk was at his peak. You know, and they were like, well, let's get CM Punk Jr. This guy, look at him, he's filled with tattoos. He has that look. He has that attitude, but it didn't match because there's only one CM Punk.
Exactly.
You know, and everyone looks at the guy and goes, he's CM Punk wannabe. You know, it's like no real incentive for anyone to watch him.
He did have a cool finisher, though. That Lucky 13 leg lock thing was pretty badass.
Yeah, like I could see him as a trainer too.
Yeah. I'm sure. I think at one point he'd mentioned that he does help with like some of the promo classes and stuff too, and probably does do a little bit of training on the side.
I could imagine him like being in a promo class telling kids like how to do promos, because he really wasn't that good at it. But with that being said, that doesn't mean that he doesn't know what makes a good promo.
Right.
You know, it's like, I bet he thought he was good at it, and they were probably like, yeah, sure, whatever, kid, go out there, do your job. You know, but like you could tell like he has the mentality of he knows what a good heel is. He knows probably how to shoot a good heel promo. If they told him, okay, do a promo on the spot right now without reading this paper, you would probably get something that's actually decent.
Yeah. Which is a lot more than you can say for a lot of the people over there nowadays.
Yeah. Most definitely. Tyler.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
You want to go through Swerved real fast?
Yeah, we could do that.
Oh, yeah, that was...
I believe this was the season finale, possibly even the series finale.
Yeah, I think it's the series finale.
So...
Yeah.
I was not too impressed by any of this. Running around with a cattle prod and a taser is not really funny to me. Just randomly chasing people and shocking them. So I didn't really like that whole scene.
Oh, well, I think that's probably when they gave Paige the cattle prod. That's probably the one that people started complaining and saying, no, this ain't going to happen. We need to stop this right now.
I wonder if that's what it was. People were just like, Paige is annoying the fuck out of us, guys.
Yeah.
Let's just stop this.
I just like the look that Kane gave her. When you walked by, Kane walked by, and he looks at her and goes, is that a selfie stick? No, it's a cattle prod. Can I tase you? No. Okay.
Let's see here. Yeah, they put Paige on the electric stool, and then they had some guy go up to the boogeyman to get him to sign a picture of him as the Dookie Man. That was a little funny.
Yeah, Boogeyman got more time on Swerve than he has in years on any kind of WWE TV.
Yeah, why is he even around? He hasn't wrestled in years.
Because they filmed all of this during Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
that's
well,
what I'm
WrestleMania.
thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, it was WrestleMania the weekend that they filmed almost all these. That's why people were saying, well, how can they? You'd think after like the first episode, people would catch on. Well, they filmed all the episodes in like one weekend, so you could see how they could get away with doing that over a short period of time before people actually caught on.
Right.
And then the last thing was Rosa Mendez got Adam Rose into a cafe and the mussels
marinara.
Yeah, that was all right, but I don't know. Overall, the show wasn't that great. This show had a ton of potential to be really funny.
Yeah.
If they should have had a lot more New Day, I think. And
the Heath Slater and Miz together were always great. Up until the point, which one was it that looked like they about broke their neck in the costume, falling off the steps?
Slater, I think.
That was Miz. I don't. Either way, I think that was all stunt double because they never actually show his face.
Yeah. It looked nasty. Like he fell off the edge of that, and you're like, yeah, that's somebody got hurt there, and that may have also been another reason why they go, yeah, we probably don't want to do this. For a little cheap, because I don't think it was a stuntman. I really don't, because I don't see them springing to pay a stuntman for a one-off thing like that.
Yeah,
I think, and the way he fell was not. It didn't look like it was a planned fall or anything like a stuntman would do. He literally was sliding down, slipped, and busted his head. It looked like.
Yeah.
Now, what did you think about the format of this episode?
I don't know.
It was completely different than any other episode.
Yeah.
Where they were having like the people talk about what they were about to be doing, but more in behind the scenes type thing, as opposed to Paige being like, I'm going to tell this little kid to say shitty things.
Yeah.
You know, like
that
it definitely doubled the length.
Yeah. Well, that also makes me really believe it is the last episode ever of this, because I don't see, at this point, I don't see anybody else falling for any. They're going to see these guys around again and immediately know something's up. So they've lost the surprise factor at this point.
Well, they need to turn it into Jackass 2.0. Because some of the funniest moments when they were just actually physically hurting each other, like when Kofi Kingston got shot in the face with that cannon.
Oh, yeah, that was.
If they just get Kofi, Xavier, Heath Slater, Miz, Fandango, and Hornswoggle, bam, new cast for Jackass 2.0. It could work. It's not going to work at its current setup of how they try to pull pranks on each other. Like, if they continue how they have been, it's not going to work, and I won't miss this show if that's the route they're going to go. But if they can do more of like the physical like pranks that actually are significant, like they did all these stupid fucking pranks, like, oh, I threw a fucking spider at you, like, come on, like, that's stupid.
Really, can you expect much more from Eva Marie and Cameron?
Yeah. My only question is, what was up with the Hornswoggle and the other guy eating like the jalapeno hamburger thing or whatever the hell that was?
Oh,
that
the
didn't
ghost
even
pepper thing?
Yeah, that didn't even seem like it was a swerve type thing. That was just, to me, if it was going to be a swerve thing, you would do it where Hornswoggle's eating a regular hamburger and the other guy thinks he's eating the ghost pepper and the other guy's eating the ghost pepper or something like that. But it looked like they were both just sitting there trying to do this ghost pepper burger challenge or whatever. That just didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, the show never did find its identity. It sometimes it was trying to be Jackass, sometimes it was trying to be Punk'd. You know?
Yeah.
It never really settled on anything. So I think that hurt the show overall too.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. Like, I've seen a lot worse programming on WWE Network. So this really wasn't the worst thing I've seen, but whatever.
If they bring it back, I'll watch it probably. But if they don't, I won't cry.
Right. Anything else?
No, I'm good. It's about getting late.
Yep, that it is.
And what is it, like 4 o'clock in the morning for you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it's a win it.
You guys are my hero.
Well, it was great having you on the show. You did a great job, I think.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Like I said, anytime you want to try to have me back, I'm game to try it again sometime.
Yeah, this was fun. I could definitely see that happening. Okay, real quick, let me throw out some more plugs for other shows than ours. Face the Music podcast with Joe and Amy. This week, they had, I am going to get his name wrong. They had the drummer from Edwin McCain Band. And it was, I think this is their biggest guest that they've had so far. And it was really good. Ted Sherrard was his name. And it was really good. Like, they talked a lot about, like, the local music scene in the city that they live in. But, yeah, it was a really entertaining conversation. So definitely check that one out. Geeks of the Industry with Chunky Larry. And you could always check out Mega Powers Radio if you're wanting to hear more wrestling. That's always going to make you laugh. And talking about with Glenn, a Wrestling Soup with Joey and Mish, and BB and BC podcast, just a nice little podcast about B movies. I enjoy it quite a bit.
Yeah, I started listening to that myself. I love that show.
Yeah, it's the movies that they cover are insane. Like,
yeah, they're actually covering my favorite movie of all time. I got to find my DVD to watch it before they air it. Westworld.
Yeah, that's coming out this Sunday, isn't it?
Yeah. I saw that. I joined their Facebook page and I saw that. I was like, dude, I'm there.
Yeah, I mean, really, those guys, they do a lot of work to put in that show. And they used to have, Mike used to be on a show called Upside Down Hollywood. Go ahead and download all of the shows while you can. They quit recording, and I think they're all going to be leaving the server 9/22. So sometime very soon. So just go ahead and get all those shows, and those focus on two directors. I want to say, I can't remember their names now. It's like Joe Olin Ray and Fred Wazinski, maybe. But it's just, and some of those movies actually go back and forth. Like, you'll notice, like, what is it? Hot Tub thing, Scream Queen Hot Tub. They talk about in both shows. But yeah, it's definitely, that's also a good show. Sadly, it's leaving, but BB&BC is like going strong. I think stronger than ever, actually.
Did you see their YouTube one they did? They did a episode where they screened a movie. I can't even remember what the name of the movie was, but they synced up the movie with their commentary. And
oh yeah,
their YouTube show is pretty cool.
Yeah, I really like that concept. Yeah, I cannot say much more about that show. It's really good, entertaining. Do you have any podcasts that you like to plug, George?
No, you pretty much covered all the ones I listen to, other than Solid Monster Sounds Off. That's always a really good one. I listen to about 60 different podcasts at this point, so if a wrestler has it, I've probably listened to it at one point or another. So
how is the Flair one?
It's about what you would expect. He does have a good co-host that reins him in, so it makes it better. Piper's was really good before what happened, but Taz does a decent one. Who else? I can't even think off the top of my head, but yeah, those are the main ones I listen to. Somebody had put a little joke thing on one of the other wrestling Facebook pages saying that it's now law that if you're a wrestler, you have to have a podcast.
Yeah.
So I put a comment that something along the lines of, I can't wait for the Great Khali cast.
Oh, Jesus.
Hey, guys.
That would be the greatest thing ever. The Great Khali cast.
Oh, if that happens, I would have to download it. It would be like a train wreck just waiting to happen.
Oh yes. It would be one of those you would have to download it just for posterity's sake, just to say when your kids get older or whatever. You think you got it bad? Listen to what I had to listen to.
Oh, Jesus. But yeah, I think that's it, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you again for coming on, George.
No problem. Here, let me throw my Twitter handle out. I don't do a lot on it, but if anybody feels like following me, I'm at the Masked Cripple. So.
Excellent. I will have to find you on there.
Yeah, every once in a while, like during the takeover special and stuff, I was kind of tweeting during that. So during some of the wrestling stuff I'll watch, I'll start trying to tweet during some of the bigger shows and stuff like that. So.
And can you go ahead and spell
that? Just all one word: TheMasked CRIPPLE, I believe.
Okay.
That was we had a bunch of my buddies. We used to get together and play all the WWE games, and that was my wrestling name. Take off on the fact that I'm like an old man that's crippled, and they always joked that my finishing move was a submission move, but it was a top rope senton. People would see me climb up the top rope and tap out just to stop the pain of watching me try to kill myself.
Oh.
Have a good night.
Alrighty. You too. You guys have a great one.